Hello, I'm the Peter Dude, and today we're going to over my first cosplay experience. So get ready for all the crafting, electronics, existential crisis, and 3D printing on this walkthrough of my Vax'ildan cosplay. So whether you're a seasoned cosplayer or just curious about the process, you're in for a treat. We're going to talk about the whomstuv this character is, why I chose it, the process of making it, the mistakes, and the lessons learned, as well as the cosplay reveal at the end. So, this character is from the show The Legend of Vox Machina, and if you haven't seen Season 2, this whole cosplay, all of it, is a spoiler. So, spoiler alert, for everybody that hasn't watched the second season for this, you have been warned. This character, the name is Vax'ildan, and he is a badass high elf rogue with 2 daggers that are magical, and you throw them and he gets them back magically, and it's really awesome. On the second season, there are some things that happen, and bada bing bada boom, he has this super cool armor that gives him super speed and it glows up. So, me being the nerd that I am, I saw the fully black armor light up bright yellow and said, RGBs. I remember thinking, doing this should be easy, fully aware that I only meant the electronics part of it. So I embarked on the journey that was planning the cosplay. I grabbed my laptop, started looking at references, and after looking at exactly 2 screenshots from the series, I said, psh, easy peasy. I'll be able to make this cosplay for the Puerto Rico Comic Con. But my brain understands the flow of time as much as my dog understands me when I say, hey, don't eat this chocolate, it's bad for you. So let me say that Comic-Con was at the end of March 2024, and I was saying this so late in January, it should have been considered February. So, the process of making it. After seeing the references, I thought I could just buy a black shirt, black pants, and some black boots for the base of the cosplay. Now, just thinking of wearing long sleeve black clothing in Puerto Rico weather was making me sweat. So I instantly bought a personal fan that clips to a belt, just in case. I bought some toy daggers, a bag for holding the electronics, a cape, and some feathers for the shoulder parts, because I've seen some people draw the cosplay with fur, but, ravens kind of feels like feathers for me. So it was because of that that I just bought feathers for the shoulders. And after that, after those things were shipping and everything was working, I bought EVA foam for making the arm braces and chest armor, very dense LED strips, diffuser foam, and Thule mesh fabric. Lastly, I bought a bunch of electronic pieces like wiring, voltage regulators, and much more. Once the parts were coming in the mail, I started planning out all the proof of concepts that needed to be done in order to get all the unknowns figured out. So for example, was I going to be able to use the Thule for hiding the diffuser foam, but still have enough that the LED light shined through? Will I need diffuser foam, or will I only need to have the black cut out and, have the mesh be the diffuser instead of just having foam on it? I saw the Vax pattern on Etsy from this store name, so I instantly bought it and used it to cut the arm braces, the design for the EVA foam. I have never glued foam together, so after seeing 10 unrelated videos that I should have, I bought contact cement and did a POC for gluing the foam together. Now, did I practice on the arm brace instead of just using scrap foam? Maybe. But oh look, the feathers and capes are here. Okay, so back to the POCs. I got the LEDs and did a quick test to see if they turned on, then I cut some diffuser foam to see how much I needed for the proper diffusion. The answer for that was 4 millimeters of foam, which even though I noted it down, I fully forgot it was 4 millimeters and had to test this again instead of checking my notes. After all this, I grabbed some Thule fabric and folded it, and folded it, and folded it. Gosh, how many times did I need to fold this? 16? Anyway, that's a bunch of fabric, but, let me buy a gigantic foam and I'll just worry about that later. So once the fabric was put on top of the diffuser and on top of the LEDs, I confirmed that it was the effect I wanted. Dude, look, there's nothing there. And then there is. Oh, so good. Next POC, how am I going to do the power for these LEDs? Well, I connected them to a 5-volt battery pack and measured it. noticed I would need a bunch of power to power this whole thing, so I went and bought some 18650 batteries, a 2S holders, a BMS, and an XT60 connector, as well as a voltage regulator. Well, I already had the voltage regulator from a solar power generator project I finished a couple of years back, plugged them all together, and it worked marvelously. So that was amazing. So I had that battery pack just built with 18650s, which are very powerful batteries. Between the batteries I got and the projected 288 LEDs, I calculated that if I used them all full blast, I would be able to run it for like an hour or something. So this POC surfaced that I needed to do a default animation that would not completely murder my batteries. So I connected an Arduino Nano to the power supply and LEDs, then I got into testing some animations. Wait, how much longer till Comic-Con? It's already the second week of March? Okay, well, time to speed this up. I got the LEDs cut to match the little diamond in the middle. Oh crap, these cables are a little bit too large for this. Grab lower gauge wire cables, tried it again. While I was watching my current fixation of Avatar: The Last Airbender, I noticed that while fixing the cables on that small diamond, I freaking snapped one of the joints. The LEDs were so dense that the surface area I had for soldering the data cables was so little. If I cut it through the middle, I had literally no surface for soldering these cables. So I had to cut these LEDs again in such a way that I sacrificed a bunch of single LEDs just so I could have enough area to solder to. Which did the trick, and I was able to finish soldering all together. Then I tested it again, and the foam, as well as some animations I programmed into it, and yeah, looking good. Yeah, so good. I bent and glued all the LEDs into the foam, fixed the data cables that snapped off, and then arm braces mostly done. So I 3D modeled a battery box for holding all the electronics, started printing that POC of the box so I can check if it fit the bag, modified it a bit, then got to printing the bottom side of it, placed some battery holders, and hey, this is looking nice. I said as it slowly dawned on me, I completely beefed the inner dimensions of this box, and this voltage regulator is not gonna fit. So I panicked and bought a million smaller voltage regulators, which each needed fuses in order for me to not burst into flames at Comic-Con. It was at that point that I noticed that my biggest problem was going to be what I thought was the easiest. You see, the electronics? Easy. Fitting the electronics on the bag that I bought without thinking how big I needed it to be, ah yes, bad decisions. Luckily, I didn't need all 3 regulators because I wasn't going to be able to finish the whole chest piece in time, but well. So that meant less power requirements. So I yanked out 2 of those 3 regulators and left just 1. Made the box to fit, printed a lid for it, and stuck magnets to it so it could open at will, do any maintenance without any problem. What? No, that lid is perfect. It's not shifted whatsoever. I will not print that again. That is perfect. I then measured and soldered together a wire that would tie the box to both of the arms, tested it, and did the data line snap off again? God damn! I calmly remembered that the data lines had 2 connections, one on top and one on the bottom, so I fixed it by soldering on the bottom side instead of just using the ripped off one. Just forget about the ripped off one. Then I started gluing the foam cutouts into all of the like EVA foam and like putting it all together with all the lights and all the cables. Now may I remind you that right now at this point in time, it was Friday. So while I was doing the whole foam gluing together and everything, I just went to Comic-Con and came back after Comic-Con on Friday to finish gluing all the tool together and like all the foam and all that, as well as having my mom, God bless her, sew my cape because, you know, who remembers the cape that I mentioned at the beginning of this video? I didn't. I had to remember at the last minute that I forgot to cut that in. But well, my mom coming here saving, she soldered it together. So I finished one arm, went to bed, woke up Saturday morning, finished gluing the other arm, and finished the whole cosplay in time. Now in time is relative, but it was in time. With all that, I was able to pull off most of the cosplay, went to Comic-Con, and well, here's the cosplay. Awesome, right? Well, I made a lot of mistakes along the way, as I've been telling you, like starting it 2 months before Comic-Con, buying a bag before even thinking about the battery box dimension requirements, and also I soldered the LEDs on flat paper before putting it on the foam that's curved. Anyway, I had a mental breakdown halfway through this, which, took about like 2 weeks for it, so, fun stuff. But anyway, lesson learned, it's okay to make mistakes, as long as you learn from them. So, what did I learn? Intricate cosplays where you include buying materials, sewing, foam shaping, and electronics take a bunch of time to complete. Even more when you're working full-time and you were only able to work on it from 7 p.m. to 3 a.m. I should build items like the battery box first and then buy the storage bag afterwards. That way I know how big of a bag I need and I don't have to think on the fly. Also, don't have mental breakdowns. Very important. They take a lot of time. But anyway, lastly, have fun doing it. So, in conclusion, building this cosplay was so much fun because while I was making, fixing, figuring things out, I was having fun doing them. Working on this cosplay made Comic-Con very special to me because all the long nights soldering cables and designing electronics as well as cutting foam made it so fun. So the whole process was fun as well as the end result. I am very happy with this cosplay and I want to do more. So leave me a comment below with which cosplay do you think I should do next. So if you want to see that in the future, subscribe and hit that bell icon as well. If you want to get in contact with me, follow me on Instagram and or join our Discord. Thank you for watching and I'll be seeing you in the next one. Now, enjoy me flossing for no reason.